Welcome teachers to this presentation on HSCB principle and its applications. HSCB principle means hard soft acid base principle. In this lecture, we will look at the principle and focus its applications mainly with organic examples. And we look at simple reactions which are often used in the classes to explain the HSCB principle. So first of all, we should know what do we mean by hard, soft acids and bases. What are soft bases? The ones which have low electron activity, have high polarizability, they're easy to oxidize, they hold their electrons loosely. Whereas hard bases, on the reverse, have high electron activity, they have low polarizability, they're easy to oxidize and hold on to their electrons tightly. Soft acids in which the acceptor is large, has a low positive charge, low electron activity, high polarizability, and may contain unshared electrons. Whereas hard acids in which the donor is large, it has high positive charge, high electron activity, low polarizability, and does not contain unshared electrons. It basically amounts to charge density. More the charge density, harder it will be base or acid, and less is the charge density, softer it will be the base or acid depending on the charge. Here are some examples of bases which have been categorized into hard, soft, and some borderline cases. Just for comparison, I can compare H2O versus H2S, in which O versus S attack, where both of these could be nucleophiles. H2O is harder because of its smaller size, so more charge density compared to H2S. Similarly, OH minus is a harder base compared to SH minus, or in other words, we can say SH minus is softer base. RO minus versus RS minus. Fluoride versus chloride. So fluoride is harder and chloride, or for that matter, bromide, iodide are softer. So one can compare looking at different factors as we saw earlier. As we go down the group from fluorine to bromine to iodine, we know that the size increases as well as the electron activity decreases. And therefore, in these anions, the charge density decreases and therefore the softness increases. In other words, hardness decreases. What happens if a halide is linked to alkyl group? Ri, Rbr, RCl. We know in RCl, Cl has higher electron activity than Ri, in which I has lower electron activity. And we know the alkyl halides are partially charged with a positive charge on alkyl groups. So, because electron activity of halogen chloride is higher, the partial positive charge on R in RCl will be larger than in Ri. In other words, R plus in RCl will be harder than R plus in Ri. Some examples of hard acids, soft acids, and borderline cases. Again, you can see the smaller ion like H plus, lithium, sodium, and charge. Compare them to larger ions with a single or double charge, and one could compare these easily and divide them into hard and soft. We should look at another term which we'll be using often in these reactions which we are going to discuss, amidan nucleophiles. What are amidan nucleophiles? The nucleophiles which have more than one attacking end. For example, carbon and nitrogen in cyanide. It could be carbon or sulfur. In nitride, it could be nitrogen or oxygen. So these are called as ambident nucleophiles. Similarly, if we have ethyl acetoacetate and treat with base, we get carbanion on, with the loss of proton from the acidic hydrogen. And this is resonance stabilized with this, in which the negative charge is on O minus. And we know this is more stable case. So enolate is more stable. Therefore, the equilibrium should lie more towards this. So what happens when we do alkylation? If we have to do alkylation, where would it take place? And how we could explain this? Similarly, phenoxide. If I treat with a base, I'll get a phenoxide. This can also be in equilibrium, but here it will require much larger energy because the resonance is destroyed here. So let's look at some of the examples, but before that, we should understand what is HSAB principle. Here I just shown, I think, the ketone with two ends from where proton could be lost, and it's an unsymmetrical ketone. So if I treat this with base, I could get two different anions, whereas this anion will be preferred because these hydrogens are more acidic compared to this hydrogen, which has an electron releasing group. So more of this should be formed than this. But when it goes into equilibrium, we know that this anion gives a more stable enolate as it is tetrasubstituted compared to this is trisubstituted. So as far as stability is concerned, this will be more favored because it will lead to the formation of more stable enolate. But kinetically, the rate of reaction will be faster to give this, though this will not be stable. And this is why we call rate, that is kinetic versus thermodynamic. And it is possible by changing reaction condition to get either kinetic product or thermodynamic product. To get thermodynamic product, we should use protic solvent. Once we use protic solvent, the reactions become reversible. And we should use weak bases. Because when it's a weak base and protic solvent and high temperature, the equilibrium will be favored and we will get more of the thermodynamic product. But if you use very strong base, it will pick up these protons much faster. So you get this as a major product. Also, we should use aprotic solvent and also low temperature. So it is possible by changing the reaction condition to get either the kinetic or the thermodynamic product. Yes, HSAB principle. The HSAB principle says that a hard acid combines with a hard base and soft acid combines with a soft base. In organic chemistry, for us, electrophile is equivalent to an acid and a nucleophile is equivalent to a base. The hard-soft acid-base principle therefore implies that a hard electrophile will combine with a hard nucleophile and a soft electrophile will combine with a soft nucleophile. Let's look at the nucleophilic substitution. We know the nucleophilic substitution takes place mainly via SN1 or SN2 mechanism. The SN1 mechanism proceeds via carbocation, whereas SN2 proceeds via pentavalent transition state in which there is a partial positive charge on the alkyl group. Now, if I compare therefore the carbocation with a partial positive charge, SN1 and SN2, the carbocation is harder and the SN2, the alkyl with partial positive charge, is softer. And since it's a harder electrophile, it must combine with a harder nucleophile. And similarly, in SN2, because it involves a softer electrophile, the reaction should take place with a softer nucleophile. Therefore, in going from SN1 to SN2, from hard to soft, what will happen if we were doing reaction with a cyanide? In cyanide, it's an ambident nucleophile. There's a soft end and a hard end. Therefore, if the reaction is SN1 mechanism, the product should be by attack from the nitrogen end, hard end. And if the reaction mechanism is SN2, the product should be by attack from carbon end of cyanide. Similarly, nitrogen end of nitrite, which is softer, will give us SN2, and oxygen end of nitrite will be response going through SN1. Same is the case with enolates, as we saw earlier. In enolate, we have a negative charge on carbon and oxygen. So the carbon end is softer and the oxygen end is harder. Let's look at this example to begin with. We have ethyl acetoacetate converted into the corresponding anion. When it is treated with the halide, we get R alkylation, and that is the reaction we mostly write. Ethyl acetoacetate with the sodium ethoxide in ethanol with RBr gives C alkylated product. Same reaction if we were to do in aprotic solvent and with the alpha chloroether. Now this compared to Rx, here the CH from where the halogen will be lost is attached to alkoxy group. The alkoxy group is donating electrons. That means it is making it a harder. And therefore, the attack takes place on oxygen and gives rise to this as the major product. And we shall discuss C versus O alkylation in detail. Even in ethyl acetoacetate, if I treat this with diethyl sulfate, you can see when the reaction is done with HMPA, we get O alkylated product. 83% major product is O alkylation, and C alkylation is a minor product. Whereas when I do reaction in protic solvent, I get 94% of C alkylation and no O alkylation. How does it happen? Now this product here, the major product, it also depends on what is Rx. Yes, see this reaction where we are changing X with ethyl halide. So it could be iodide, bromide, chloride, or tosylate. You can see now the solvent is same. We saw earlier that in HMP it was giving O alkylation as a major product. Yes, the solvent is same. When the leaving group is changed, the ratio is changed. You can see with X is equal to iodide, C alkylation is a major product. And with the harder ones, O alkylation is the major product. So this also plays a role. Now, because we are talking O alkylation versus C alkylation, soft versus hard. What happens? In protic solvents, the protic solvent undergoes hydrogen bonding with the oxygen end. And thus this negative charge of oxygen gets distributed and therefore is not available for attack as easily. And the reaction mainly proceeds via C. Whereas when we do reaction in aprotic solvents, there is no such solvation of O minus. Rather, there is sometimes known cases of solvation of the corresponding cation. If we say lithium, it gets solubilized by aprotic solvent, and therefore the equilibrium exists in this form. And this being a stronger nucleophile, it gives major product as coagulation. Now, why it changed? Yes, because we are changing from harder end to softer end, the ratio is also changing. So we should be clear that the ratio of O versus C alkylation depends on Rx as well as the solvent. Besides this, it also depends on another factor, since we are talking of potassium here. Now you can see which base we use to create this anion. If it was lithium hydroxide, Sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide. When we use lithium hydroxide, it is small, and therefore it will lead to it's a harder cation, and therefore harder anion will be available for reaction, and the harder ion end is nothing but O-alkylation product, and the softer is potassium, and therefore the softer here will be carbon, which is available and undergoes major alkylation. So we can see that the alkylation depends on number of factors. Even the counter cation matters, the solvent matters, and the leaving group matters. And this can be explained via hard soft acid base principle. Phenoxide can be generated. You can see its reaction with benzyl bromide. We use a protic solvent and protic solvent. You can see again here that with protic solvent, the reaction product is mainly C alkylation, and with aprotic solvent, the reaction is mainly O alkylation. Now, let's look at another reaction, which again I think we studied in school stage. That alkyl halide, when treated with sodium cyanide, gives a nitride, whereas with silver cyanide, it gives isonitride. Here, change of the cation is changing the product. We also saw in case of ethyl acetoacetate, by changing the cation, there was change from O alkylation to C alkylation. Now, what happens therefore? Since this is attacked by carbon, which is a softer end, so this reaction must be taking place via SN2 mechanism. And here the attack is to nitrogen, therefore the reaction must be taking place via SN1 mechanism. It is said that when we use silver cyanide, silver helps in ionization of RX to carbocation to give this, whereas this is does not help in ionization of this, and the reaction proceeds via SN2. There's another way of looking at this reaction also. See, we have sodium cyanide and silver cyanide. Among these, which is harder? Sodium. Silver is softer. So I can think that the sodium ion, which is which is harder, will be surrounded by the softer end of ambident nucleophile. And it's a harder acid, and therefore it will be surrounded by harder end of the ambident nucleophile, and that is nitrogen. Since it is surrounded by the harder end, what is available for attack is the softer end of cyanide, and hence the reaction. Similarly, in silver cyanide, this is softer and therefore is surrounded by the softer end of ambident nucleophile, that is carbon, and hence the end available for attack is nitrogen, and it gives rise to isonitride. Remember, as we discussed in ethyl acetoacetate, it also depends on Rx. Here, the reaction is taking place via softer end. Therefore, if we use RBR, RBI, we will get exclusiveness. And here, we should preferably use halide, that is chloride, and we will get major product as this. In these reactions, we do get mixtures, so one can control reaction condition to get one product major compared to another. As we talked of unsymmetrical ketone earlier, kinetic versus thermodynamic, yes, here also similar to as we discussed in ethyl acetoacetate, it is possible to bring about alkylation at these places by regulating the reaction condition, as we said earlier, like the solvent, the temperature, and the kind of base. And here also, again, there is a C alkylation versus O alkylation, and one could control condition to get either of these products. If we treat ethyl acetoacetate with 2 moles of LDA, a strong base, what happens? A dianion is formed. Of these two dianions, one is softer, one is harder. This is softer because it can undergo resonance stabilization with two ends, whereas this can undergo resonance stabilization only with one end. But this is more acidic and it is formed first, and therefore we have to use a strong base and two moles to generate this dianion. Now, if it is treated with Rx, the reaction is possible at both, but we could control reaction condition to get alkylation at harder end. If we use a halide in which X is harder, that is chloride. If we use Ri iodide, we will end up in mixture of both products. But if we use RCl, we will get this as the major product. So within the same molecule also, hard versus soft, one could change reaction condition to get the desired products. Here you can see now the reaction of thiocyanate. When it is treated with the methyl iodide, the reaction is taking place from sulfur, which is a softer end. Here it is with the acetyl chloride, much harder acetyl group, and the reaction takes place to the nitrogen end. Analogous to cyanide, we have the nitrite here. If we have tertiary chloride, we get this product. If we have methyl iodide, we get this product. We know that in case of tertiary chloride, the reaction takes place via SN1 mechanism, and therefore it adds on the harder end of NO2, and this product is formed the nitrite, and this undergoes reaction by SN2 mechanism, and we get this product. If we have trialkyl phosphinoxide, trialkoxyphosphinoxide, and do its reaction with thiocyanate and hydroxide, you see hydroxide is harder. So in this molecule, PO is polarized and there is a partial positive charge on phosphorus. This is harder end and it attacks phosphorus. And we can see, we get this product and the alkoxide is lost. A starred, that is labeled oxygen, was used to confirm this. And you can see the labeled oxygen is attached to phosphorus. Whereas when it was treated with thiocyanate, the thiocyanate attacks on the alkyl group and we get this phosphate moiety. Because this is soft and the alkyl group here is soft, softer end compared to the phosphorus. Now, if we compare, now we are having the same substrate, methyl iodide, which can only undergo reaction via SN2. It cannot undergo preferably reaction via SN1. But we have now carried out reaction with RO minus and RS minus. Both the products are formed, but this reaction, the second reaction, is 100 times faster than this reaction. Why? Because this is softer electrophile and the reaction with softer nucleophile is much faster. Same is true about ether. And another reaction of mercuric salt with HCl, HBr, and HI, you can easily explain based on our hard soft acid base principle. We also know that when we do hydrogenation, we use metals like palladium and platinum, which are large metals which can form pi complex with the alkenes. Provost reaction, which is a Woodward modification, we know it takes place with the iodine and silver acetate. The steps involved are iodinium formation to give this iodoacetate, and then there's an intramolecular attack to give this carbonium ion. Now here, two different reactions are possible. This is a harder end, and therefore OH minus attacks this to give this, and on hydrolysis, we can convert it into this compound. Whereas when reaction is done with acetate, this is softer, where it is OCO. And this attacks, therefore, one of the two carbons from the opposite side to give 1,2-diacetate. Reactions of enemies can also be explained in a similar manner. Uh, when we have enamine, the nitrogen is the harder end, the carbon is the softer end. Here is soft one, alkylation at softer place. Here is the alkylation at the harder end. This reaction could also be explained in a similar manner. Same, knowing the polarity of ClCN and ICN, one could explain this reaction. Here we are talking of 3-tosyloxyphenaldehyde. Now, when we do its reaction with cyanide, see, two reaction sites are possible. It can add on to this, or it can bring about nucleophilic substitution here. When we have the harder nucleophile, the cyanide, it adds on to this to give this product. Whereas when we use a softer nucleophile thiolate, it brings about nucleophilic substitution. So one is a sp2 hybridized, one is sp3 hybridized. Reaction of heterocyclic compound, one example here. Yes, the nitrogen is a much stronger electron withdrawing group. So it's a harder compared to bromide. And here you can see which of these two will be harder. This. And therefore, when we treat with this, this is substituted here. And when we treat this, the softer, this is substituted. You can see the product changes simply by changing the counter cation. We know that RCO plus is a hard acid, therefore CH3COF is more stable than CH3COCI, and acetyl chloride is more stable than acetyl iodide. CH3CONR2 and ester are more stable than corresponding thioanalogues, that is COSRR. RSI is more stable than RSF because here the combination is soft and hard. This is RSSR is more stable than RSOR because they are same polarity. Here there is a difference in polarity. Silver iodide AgI3 minus is I and I3 minus are more stable, but AgF2 and I2F are not stable. Same because it's soft hard combination. And we know in Hunsdickel reaction, the reaction easily goes by displacement of the corresponding halide because of this hard soft acid-base combination. And quickly, lastly, going through symbiosis. What is symbiosis? Symbiosis is a phenomena of maximum flocking of either hard or soft ligands or atoms or groups in the same complexes of compounds. That is, metal ions or carbon, ligands of the same kind, hard or soft, get attached to the same metal or carbon. One can therefore easily say that if we have CF2 carbene, it has a higher affinity for fluoride than chloride. The reaction with fluoride minus will be much faster than with chloride. Why? Because of symbiotic effect. We know in this reaction, fluoride attacks to give this Meitner-Heimer complex, and we know there are evidences for Meitner-Heimer complex. Whereas when it's treated with hydride, this reaction does not take place. It's a harder compared to this, and not only harder. Here now that we are talking of symbiotic effect, so it adds on to same carbon to give this. And similarly, therefore, if one was to do the reaction of difluoromethane, if you heat it at high temperature, you will get these products. Even if you heat aldehyde at high temperature, that is formaldehyde, we get methane at carbon dioxide. If you heat iodotrifluoromethane and fluoromethane, we get these two products, which is a result of symbiosis, which is symbiotic effect. Yes, Same here. I mean, this is a hard rand and easily combines with this to give this or this. But when we treat with a soft nucleophile, this nucleophile attacks one of the methyl groups and we get methyl halide and this product. Here, the symbiotic effect. Now, this is softer. One would think here the reaction takes place to give this. Why this reaction is taking place? Because a symbiotic effect. Sulfurs, four sulfurs on the same carbon. And look at this example. Reaction of lithium aluminum hydride and sodium borohydride. When you treat with lithium aluminum hydride, it attacks on the ester, we know that, to give an aldehyde, and subsequent reaction gives us alcohol. But when this reaction was done with sodium borohydride, we know that borohydride does not attack the ester group, and therefore it's a softer one and adds on to opens the ring to give this. Thank you for your patience. If you have any questions, you can call me at 9810651142, or you can send me email at gmkurana1@yahoo.co.in. Thank you.